like the mainstream news is just crap. It's just dead. I turned on, I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not making it up. I turned on CNN. Anderson Cooper goes, coming up next, who's driving your kid's school bus? Some say it's a terrorist, and you don't even know it. What? How do you say that to millions of people without just cracking up and puking at the same time? What do they expect us to believe? Yeah, you know that middle-aged woman who goes by Etta May, who's been driving the same bus route in Toledo, Ohio for the past 30 years? She's Al-Qaeda. Yeah, I know, maybe you can't picture her on the terrorist training camp monkey bars in the middle of the 120-degree Afghanistan summer, but that's just because she kind of let herself go over these past 30 years as a sleeper cell. She's just biding her time until she finally gets that call from an Afghani warlord who's going to demand she drive that bus straight into a creek. Oh, that's our news. Where's it going to end? Coming up next, who's under your kitchen sink right now? Some say it's Bill O'Reilly, and you don't even know it. So, terrorists, but what terrorist would have the patience to sit through like 4 weeks of elementary school bus driver training who is some retired gym coach being like, I can't stress this enough. You may not date the children. Oh, and so this really is why net neutrality is so important, is because that's where you should be getting your news now, you know? And I have to say, this following joke is co-sponsored by MoveOn.org. They saw me do this joke. And insisted I do it today. So my point about net neutrality is just that we need to change the language. We need to, because the Republicans are so good at that, right? They change the lingo and it makes it hard to talk about something. We need to change net neutrality because the average American falls asleep before you get to the ality part of the word. All right? And if we don't change it, they're going to change it, and net neutrality is going to become beat up puppies. And you're not going to be able to discuss it anymore. So I think we should change we should change anti-net neutrality to slow porn. They're going to slow down your porn. Because the average American, you can take away civil rights, no one gives a damn. But you get between America and its porn, there will be riots in the streets. If there's one thing we can all agree about, it's the separation of porn and state. It is. So I mentioned it being 800 degrees in here. I mentioned global warming earlier. And you notice no matter how close they say the major effects of global warming are, it doesn't change the way America behaves largely. You know, like 10 years ago, they were like, it's 100 years away. And we were like, I'll probably be dead by then. Then they were like, it's 20 years away. And we were like, we'll probably invent giant air conditioners by then. Now they're like, people in California are on fire. And we're like, they probably live in a really fiery area. They're probably storing dry stuff in their homes, like old magazines and elderly people, you know? Yes, indeed. That's our news. At least they discuss that every once in a while in the news. Although they've got to pick one missing child for us to worry about every week, rather than discussing the wars going on all over the world. One missing little kid. You know how many people go missing on average in America every day? I don't know either, but I bet it's a lot. No, actually, I read it's 2,300. And I realize you can't count all of those. Some of those are like hide-and-go-seek that went awry. You know, or a poorly planned game of Marco Polo, or someone accidentally angled the slip and slide towards the abandoned well. But let's say it's 1,000. 1,000 people go missing. They can't even mention those? I mean, you could force the anchors to mention them. They'd be like, little Michelle is missing. Everybody keep your eyes peeled for Michelle. Oh, yeah, there's also 1,000 other doofuses who wandered off. So you find one of them. Tell them to look for Michelle.